What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is Heart to Heart DFS, and today we have another NBA slate to break down on Draftkings. NBA playoffs, they've been pretty great so far. A ton of blowouts, pretty much a blowout a slate at least, which kind of sucks. But before we get into that, I just want to say welcome to my channel. My name is Heart DFS. I make daily NBA slate breakdowns for the Draftkings NBA playoffs, as well as NBA prize pick videos that go up every day and other content as well. So make sure to follow me down there. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at HeartDFS. I think I'm going to do a giveaway once I hit 500 subscribers and about 300 followers on Twitter. So once both those things happen, I will be doing a giveaway. And I don't know, we're floating around 315 subscribers on YouTube. As you can see, 123 followers on Twitter. So once we get to about 300-ish Twitter followers and 500 subs on YouTube, I'll be doing a giveaway, probably $200, probably more. Be on to a few of you, so stay tuned for that. But let's hop into the video for today. 3-gamer, Grizzlies, Wolves, 2-point spread, 236 total. Mavs, Jazz, 7-point spread, 210.5. Warriors, Nuggets, 2-point, 223.5 total. So obviously, best game environment is this Memphis versus Minnesota game. It's pretty ugly. The first game was good. The second game was pretty much a blowout. Memphis ran like a 12-man rotation just because people were in foul trouble. It was just a very ugly game. It ended up being a blowout. The last half had Desmond BANE over like, what was it, 17 or 16 and a half points. He got 16, missed by a half. So that was annoying, but love Ja once again in the spot. Not much to say besides the fact that it was a blowout. It was just very brutal in the first half of how, bad the game was. So Ja only got 30 minutes, but excuse me. I think you can expect closer to 40 in a close game. So really like Ja at 9,800 for today. He's the guy that does it all for the team. Jackson Jr., BANE, Brooks, all these guys are pretty much priced the same. If I had to go to one of them, it would be probably BANE just because he's the best pure scorer out of them. And he's not afraid to get you some boards, rebounds, a steal or two. We'll play the minutes. I kind of got limited last game, and all these guys did just because of the blowout. But I like BANE the most out of these three guys. If you want to get to the other two, that's fine. Brandon Clarke, still looking like good value play. Should float around 20 to 25 minutes. It looks like they're limited Steven Adams. They're not really going to play him just because he can't really handle Cat. So Brandon Clarke's who they're throwing in there. Don't need to go to Tyus Jones at all. As you can see, Steven Adams only played 3 minutes. Kyle Anderson played about 18. Tillman is a guy who they did throw in there kind of to help back up Brandon Clarke when it came to guarding Cat. He played great defense against Cat. Played 21 minutes, but it is super risky to go to Tillman. We'll just have to see if they have any news on if Steven Adams starts. If he does start, I do think this is a lot riskier of a play to try to play Tillman. But if, maybe they throw in Triple J at center, that means they're going to need, Tillman to come off the bench to fill in some minutes. So this is definitely a risky salary play for today. But, definitely take a look at Tillman at 3,500. Just because they've been using them to guard Cat. Minnesota side, we got Towns, top 9-3. Do like him in a bounce back spot. Played 20 minutes, only shot the ball 7 times. Was in foul trouble pretty much the whole game. Fortunately, he got there rebound-wise. It was looking pretty brutal. Midway through the game, he was about like 3 rebounds at like half, but ended up picking it up. I do like him in a bounce back spot. 9,300 should be pretty cheap or pretty low owned today, just because of people are going to go to some other plays. Anthony Edwards, kind of had a rough game. Everyone on both sides pretty much had a rough game, obviously because of the blowout. And it was just ugly, sloppy basketball in the first half. Don't mind getting back to him at 8,200 in this game environment. People are going to score. So you're going to have to take a shot on a guy or two. Do like D'Angelo Russell, back-to-back bad games from him. 2 of 11, 3 of 11. I do expect a bounce back spot for D'Angelo Russell here at 7K, so I do have some good interest in him. Pat Beverly, price has come down. Playing about 30 minutes a game, didn't shoot the ball too well. Still got you 16.5 fantasy points, which you do like to see. So I don't mind getting a Pat Bev here at 5.3K. The best way to go for these slates so far has been the mid-range route. Maybe paying up for one guy in like the 9.5, 10K area, but it's been pretty much just running those mid-range guys, 5, 6, 7, 8K, and those have been winning the tournament so far. So I think I'm gonna go that route, but hopefully it stays that way. I just know that I'll probably do that today, and then it'll be one of those where the stars and scraps win. But mid-range route is a way to go today. Let's see. So do like Pat Bev a good amount today at 5,300 as well. Pairing him with D'Lo is kind of negative EV, if you would say, but I don't mind it. They should be playing a good amount of minutes. Pat Beverly should be playing a good amount of minutes either way, just because of how good he is at defending. Malik Beasley is one of those tournament dart throws. Played him last slate, didn't do well for me at all, but as you can see, he can get you into the 35 fantasy point range if he's shooting the ball well. Minutes kind of fluctuate a little bit, but don't mind taking a shot on him at 4,400. He's always worth a tournament look. McDaniels kind of failed us 21 minutes, which is nice to see, but only shot the ball 1 of 7. 9 fantasy points. Got us 3 blocks back-to-back games, which is pretty huge. Otherwise, he didn't really do much at all. I don't mind getting back to him at 3,600. I think, kind of got to bite the bullet on the last game, and I just think he should do better. Vanderbilt kind of fell at the rotation, only saw 9 minutes. Naz Reid got some minutes for some reason, 20. So that's what I'm saying. The first half of this game was so bad. They were throwing in pretty much everyone off the bench on both sides. It was wild just because of that and the foul trouble. I don't think you'd expect that again today. Like guys like Torian Prince got like 17 minutes, did well. I think kind of expect the normal maybe 8 to 9 man rotation on the Memphis side and maybe like 7, 8 on the Memphis or Minnesota side. Don't think they're going to go back to the bench like they did in the last game. Dallas, Utah. Love Luka at 10-6 if he plays today. Don't think they would limit him. Maybe they would. So this is definitely the biggest news on the slate we have to keep an eye on. Because if he's in, we'd really only rather get to Luka and a guy like Kleber. As I mentioned, he's a great shooter. They want to use him to spread out the floor against the Jazz and Gobert. But if he's still out, I do prefer to still play Brunson, even coming off a huge game. He's playing the minutes, getting the shot attempts, has the rebound and assist ability, the steal ability. So I do really like him at 8K if Luka's out. Same with Dinwiddie. Obviously, Brunson's a little bit better of a player, but Dinwiddie is still able to get there and is about $700 cheaper. Finney Smith and Bullock are guys who are going to play pretty much the whole game. They're not too high usage guys, but they're definitely worth a shot. I think I'd rather get to Finney Smith over Bullock, but don't know if I'd play either one of them. Kleber, as I mentioned, he's a great shooter when it comes to three-point and kind of spreading out the floor. 32 minutes, shot the ball 8 of 11, all from 3. 25 minutes, obviously you can't expect that again. His price is up a little bit, so I don't think it's necessary to get to him or Powell. Yeah, that pretty much does it for me on this side. I just really take a shot on Brunson and Dinwiddie if Luka's out. Otherwise, if Luka's in, you could definitely pick Luka, and that's pretty much it for the Dow side for me. Mitchell, way too cheap. I'll keep saying this. Once he's 9K or above, he'd be fairly priced, but right now he's just way too cheap, averaging 30 points per game in the playoffs for his career. Sometimes, as you can see, doesn't do much with rebounding and assists, but he still has the ability to get you the steals. He's averaging over 1 a game. About over 5 assists a game, over 4 rebounds. So if he gets back to his normal, steals, assists, rebounds, you're looking at, closer to 50, even higher fantasy point rise. So I do like him at 8,400 once again. Gobert, kind of just a secondary play for me. Doesn't shoot the ball a ton on offense. Back-to-back brutal games when it comes to the offensive side. He's really just there to rebound and get some blocks. I just don't think I'd go there at 7-6. He's not been the same offensively this year as he was last year. Bogdan is worth mentioning. Back-to-back games, 40 minutes, shooting the ball really well. 26 points, 25 points. Only 30 fantasy points, but at 6K, he can have that ceiling of, about 45 fantasy points if he's playing really well. Mike Conley, definitely a candidate for a bounce back spot. Only 22 minutes, 0 of 7, didn't score a point. Usually, you're probably going to see around 30, 34, maybe 35 minutes out of him. Hasn't been playing too well this season, kind of been limited or capped around 30 fantasy points. But I don't mind him at 5.5, kind of taking that shot on him. Jordan Clarkson, I mentioned him last game. He did well, 26.5 fantasy points, basically 4,900. His minutes have been pretty low for some reason. I don't know why they've been limiting him. He hasn't shot the ball. He's shot the ball well. He's not turning it over. So I don't really know why they're limiting him. They really need his scoring, especially with guys like Jordan Clarkson being bad. I do think the usage is going to flow back to Jordan Clarkson. So I do like him at 4,900. Even in this double stack of Mitchell and Clarkson, I do think it's viable to play both, just like Russell and Beverly. If you do that, I'd say throw Luka in there if he plays and if he's not limited. Let's see here. I know it'd be hard with just how many guys we have here, but just keep that in mind. If you're going to play two guys from one side, you're going to want to play at least one from the other, just because if the game stays close, obviously people are going to score on that other side. But other game we have is Golden State Warriors and Denver. I really like the Denver side, but before we get into that, Steph Curry, I mentioned that he could go off in the minutes. He actually did. I do think his minutes will start getting closer to the 30-minute mark. Back-to-back blowout games, which is not like the Warriors versus Denver. Denver's been a great team this year, so I do expect it to be a close game. Steph at 8.9 is way too cheap. Even in 30 minutes for Steph, I just think that's way too cheap for one of the best shooters in the world. So definitely keep an eye on the news. If he's still coming off the bench, I don't know if I'd get there, but if he moves back into the starting role, I really like Steph at 8.9. Poole, I'm going to take a stand and fade him today. Back-to-back amazing games. Really like him as a player. Him and Maxey have kind of just been destroying these games in the props just because they've been playing so well and just blowing out the teams. Don't think I'd get to him at 8,100. Do have good interest in Klay Thompson, 6,900. He is scoring dependent, but it's Klay in the playoffs. He's been playing and shooting the ball a lot better recently, so I do like him a good amount. Draymond Green, like him because he's pretty much a complete player when Steph and Klay are in. Still tad limited just because Steph is not in the starting lineup. That really helps open up things for Draymond, being able to assist, grab rebounds, stuff like that. But don't mind him at 6.7. Another good spot for him. Andrew Wiggins, prices come down. Just average play at 5,900. Doesn't really have too high of a ceiling. Otto Porter Jr. should see around 20, 25 minutes. Didn't need to do much in a blowout, so obviously didn't get there fantasy point wise, but he is a guy that can throw up a sneaky double-double, so definitely worth taking a shot on him if you want to. That really does it for me on this side. Gary Payton played a few minutes here. I just don't think it's worth it. Pretty much for me on this side, it's Steph. Obviously, you can take a shot on Jordan Poole. I just think he's going to cool off a little bit, especially if Steph moves back into the starting lineup. Poole would come off the bench. I don't think he'd be worth the price of 8,100. But Steph, Thompson, and Green, and then maybe that value play of Otto Porter Jr. But the side I do really like is the Denver side. Jokic is playing amazing. He's just been limited in back-to-back games due to the blowout. First game blew out 35 minutes. He was on pace to get closer to his mark of about 32 points. Missed out on some boards and assists. Last game, it got ejected in the fourth. I watched it. I just turned my TV off after that. It's just, I love him in this spot, but at Golden State, they were just letting Draymond Green hammer him and hack him and foul him the whole game. And so he got pissed and got ejected because of that. They were playing terrible. Do expect a bounce back opportunity in this game in Denver. Really like this side. Really like Will Barton, 5,800. I know there's a lot of guards and shooting guards I like today, so it's going to be a little tough to fit all these guys in. But I do prefer Will Barton over most of them. Going to need a secondary scorer to Jokic, and Will Barton is usually that guy. So I do really like Will Barton today at 5,800. We'll just take some of these guards out for now. We'll just throw in Will Barton. Is he... Let's see if he's small forward eligible, but Will Barton, really like him today. Same with Aaron Gordon. You know, obviously 2 back-to-back brutal games due to the blowout, but before that, he was pretty much getting 20 points a game, and then he was rebounding the ball well. He's getting assists, you know, getting the blocker steal. So I don't mind getting to him at 5,600 as well. Really like this this Denver side. Monte Morris, you know, secondary play for me, but should have that ability to get some assists, hit some threes. But for me on this side, it's pretty much just getting to the guys at the top. Bones Hyland is definitely worth taking a shot on. I don't know why he doesn't play when the game blows out. You know, he's a young guy. You'd expect him to throw him out there just to shoot the ball, get some more experience, but they only play him when they're in a close game. As you can see, even in the limited amount of minutes, he's able to get you there fantasy point wise, 37 and 24 minutes, 30 and 21, 33 and 29, 22 and 27. So I don't mind taking a shot at him at 4,100. He'll be a sneaky play for today, especially if this game is close. I do expect, you know, all these guys on the Denver side to play really well and pay off their prices. So I do like targeting this Denver side for today. And that's kind of my thoughts for today. I'll have an updated core on my Twitter, so make sure to follow me there. But this is kind of what I'm liking. Really like the Denver side for today, and kind of mixing and matching some guys like Donovan Mitchell, John Morant, stuff like that. So make sure to follow me at Twitter, HeartDFS, and I'll give you guys an updated core later today based on that Luka news. So if you could like, subscribe, comment, do appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys later today for an NBA Prize Pick.